Hi, it's Austin with the last of the short progress reports. So, gonna go ahead and hide that. And you can see my high score system. I only have 5 because I actually just saw right before recording this that we were supposed to have 8. But I figure that's a trivial enough thing that it doesn't really matter. What I don't have is the blocking on the text. You can see that the bullets will actually, the centipedes will move through. But that's I will finish that. I just didn't have time this time. But I'll launch ahead and show you that I can input scores as well. I have my mic as far up as I can and my volume as far down as I can, and it sounds alright on my end, so hopefully this is good enough. Okay, 426, that should be plenty. Die and die. Alright. I'll just go ahead and put that in. You can see it up at the top now. The high score at the very top is also 426. I'll launch into one player mode again. Do the same process, but with a lower score. Alright. So you can see that OOP is now below OS on the scale. And the same thing will happen if I beat that high score, but I'm not going to spend the time doing that. So let's go ahead and look at what I've got. So, we talked about this in class, so I just thought I would point it out. I made some slight edits to game.c++ so that I could call the game controller terminate function. That way it doesn't destroy itself in between each scene, and also it can keep track of the high score manager and terminate that as well. You can see that in its that's the wrong thing. You can see that in its terminate function. It just clears all of the factories. In addition to that, I do have multiple scenes working, and you can tell because I have the set scene here. Each scene, I have a 1-player, a 2-player, and a track mode scene. Each one passes in an integer, shown here, and it will use that to set the strategies on the sound controller and the player controller. High score manager. So, this is one of the main functions for the high score display. Here are my 5 high scores. I can add the remaining 3 later. Let's see. So I call update score every time I update the regular score. Essentially just check whether the current score is higher than the highest score and update the score up top. And then the update all scores function. So this one's a little messy. There's probably a better way to do this, but this is the best I could think of off the top of my head. Was go through, check which of the scores your current score is higher than, and then put all of the scores below that, just essentially put each one in a level below, and then call the input function, which I will show you in a minute. So the initial input, lots of fun here. So, yeah, I take the text entered, I essentially just, this is the backspace right here, is I check if it's backspace. If so, I'll go back and then overwrite that glyph, and otherwise I will just finish the glyph, and enter is how you leave that screen. That way, even if you type 3 and you make a mistake, you can go back and change it. So that's what the finish function's for. Alright, so, and last but not least, the actual high score display. This is the big table that is, has all 5. So I have all 5 scores listed, as well as the text high score at the top. And yeah, I just go through and draw all of them, and yeah, the build score is essentially the same function as in my regular score update, is that I do some fancy schmancy stuff that I've already explained to build the integer and then add the initials at the end.